But did you guys know that I have a second YouTube channel? That's right, I have a second YouTube channel called Tnek FPS. This channel is based on first person, third person, all kinds of different shooter games and stuff like that. Instead of flooding you guys with the shooter goodness and everything over here on Tnek 127 Gaming, where you're looking for MMOs and stuff like that, I took all the good old shooter news and I put it on a second channel. So if you're looking for first person, third person, or any type of shooter content, games like Rogue Company, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and stuff like that, be sure to check me out on Tnek FPS. Link to that channel will be in the description below. Your support is appreciated. Hello gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tnek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my beginner's guide for Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak. If you don't know what Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak is, it is a brand new MMORPG that recently just released on the PlayStation 4 and 5, but is also available on PC and mobile as well with full cross-play and cross-progression. Now, in today's video, I'm just going to be going over some basic tips and tricks and stuff like that to help get you started with this game because, like I said in the beginning, it is a mobile game and not everything was translated perfectly, especially the controls and stuff like that. So there are, some things you're going to want to fine-tune and some things you're going to want to know before diving straight into this game. We're not going to be going over any of my criticisms or thoughts on things like pay to win and stuff like that in this video. When I give you guys my first impressions of all that and talk about this game, I'll be letting you guys know that kind of information. But this is just going to be for those who are interested in playing and want to get started. So let's go ahead and talk about the 5 classes of the game first. So before we get into the classes, I do want to remind you guys that this is a server and channel based game. So for example, the game currently has 2 channels on it, channels 1 and 2. If you want to play with your friends, make sure you guys are simply on the same channel. So for example, if me and my girl Aki want to play together, we're both going to make sure we're on channel 1 or channel 2 to make sure we can play together. Just want to throw that quick reminder in there before you guys go ahead and get started. But you can change channels at any time, so don't worry about that. The option to change is right here. Don't stress it, but I just want to throw that in mind in case you're trying to party up with your friends or anything like that, and you guys are having trouble finding each other. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the classes. So there are 5 classes in Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak. You have your warrior, your paladin, your mage, your priest, and your gunner. We'll go ahead and look at these classes one by one, and I'll let you guys know what they are. Your warrior is basically your DPS and tank hybrid class. The warrior can be played as either. Each class also has 3 subclass versions of it that you're going to unlock through the story of it. If you've played games like Final Fantasy XIV, you'll be a little bit familiar with this mechanic of having a class and a subclass. The only difference in this game is that your subclass is actually, a playable class that you can switch to at any given time. But your warrior will have 2 DPS versions of itself, and it'll have 1 tank version of itself. Now, next class is your paladin. Your paladin can be played as a tank or a support. I'm not sure if it has a DPS version of this class or not. Unfortunately, I haven't played the paladin to actually be able to find that out. But I can say that I have seen it in dungeons as a tank or as a DPS. So the paladin can be a support or a tank class. Your mage, this is a ranged DPS, point blank period. It has 3 different subclasses. Each one of them are a different type of DPS style of play. Now your priest is 100% a support class. I don't know if this class can be played in any other form. I would assume if it can, it's probably some type of DPS form, but your priest is a support / healer. And of course, there is your gunner, which is your long-range DPS class. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, there could be more classes added, but at this current point in time, there are only 5 classes for the time being. Alright, so now let's start by talking about the open world, your hub, what everything here is on your screen, and letting you guys know what exactly is going on. So on the top left hand of your screen, you have your HP bar, which is that big green bar on the left hand side. You have your MP bar, which is the one that says 0 on the right, or ability points, or whatever you'd like to call them. They always have different names for different classes and different types of games and stuff like that. And of course you have your experience point bar on the very top of all that. The section right above it where you see the little character symbol is just a quick spot where you can take a look at your character. The section right under it where you guys see Rest in Peace Gregory and the 2 other markers. These are my quest list. Just so you guys know, we're going to zoom in on these a little bit so you guys can see them. Your side quests are going to look like these ones with the exclamation points and the black backgrounds. Your main quests are going to look exactly like this, except they're going to have a filled in gold background like this one, Rest in Peace Gregory, does. So main quests are always going to have the filled in gold with the exclamation point. This one just has a check mark through it because the quest is currently finished. And these ones are always going to have the black in the background. This section down here at the bottom left, this is your chat section where you can text chat, throw emotes, all that fun stuff. Right here in the center, this is your hotbar that displays your moves and whatever other shortcuts you decide to add to it. This is usually on the bottom right hand side, but you do have the option to move this. Me personally, I prefer it in the center. These are more quick section slots for different things. You guys can see here photo mode, the option to go in your bag, check your mail, look at the shop and stuff like that. This is just your targeting indicator for people who want to play mouse and keyboard on PlayStation. They do use the PC UI, so if you're a mouse and keyboard person at heart, but if you'd rather play on your PlayStation 5, you will have that option on here. These are more quick indicators to access things in the menu. Then of course, right here at the top right, you have your world map. This here is a quick section to access the dungeon key, and these are just settings for your world map, and of course your current channel that you are in the server. As you guys can see, I'm in channel 2. Big reminder, like I was saying earlier, if you want to play with your friends, just make sure you guys are in the same channel. Now the next thing we're going to go over is your bags, items, and gear. Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak, it uses Phantasy Star Online 2's gear system. So if you're familiar with that, you'll be pretty familiar with how things work in this game. The word battle power, like I said, if you've played Phantasy Star New Genesis, it'll sound familiar to you. Your battle power goes up simply by getting higher level gear and leveling your character. The game's current level cap is 65. So once you hit 65, it'll be solely up to you and your gear and upgrading your gear to increase your battle power. As you guys can see, I have a current battle power of 1466. My basic level of my character is 14. To run your first dungeon in the game, you are going to need to be level 12, around 1500 battle power. Now next, like I was saying before, we're going to go ahead and look into the dungeons section and let you guys know why this is so important. Dungeons are going to be a key way that you can level up in Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak, especially once you unlock the daily feature. This is your matching section where you go to queue up for dungeons with other players. Keep in mind there is no region lock whatsoever on Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak, so all the Japanese players who have been playing this game since day one, you can queue up and play with them just fine. Meaning, yeah, there's going to be a lot of carry city going on in this game. But you have dungeons, arenas, battlefields, and sieges. Arenas, battlefields, and sieges, they are all PvP-based activities, if that's your kind of thing. Me, I'm more of a PvE style player, so I'm not going to be diving into that too much. But when you come over here into your dungeons, you're going to see 4 different sections. Random dungeon. This is your daily queue kind of system that you want to do every single day. As you guys can see, they can be done 3 times a day. You're going to get a XP bonus for these and also a gold bonus, along with some extra items. Now, in typical mobile game fashion, you do have the option to reset these with, with a currency and get a little bit of bonus XP for the day. But me personally, 3 times a day, I think that's more than enough for the typical person. Like I was saying before, you have your event dungeons right here. These are dungeons based on stuff going on in the game. At the current time, these are your normal dungeons that you're probably going to run into throughout the storyline of the game. Your first dungeon, like I said, level 12, 1494 battle power, but like I said, close to 1500. The Mysterious Group's Lair is going to be the first dungeon you get to run in the game. Well, like I said, your goal is to get to that level 12 and 14 and 1500 battle power as fast as you can, so that way you guys can access the random dungeon queue. So not only does that, help with helping other players throughout the game, but it also gives you a bonus and incentive to run this content regularly every single day. And of course, you got the hard modes of the dungeons and stuff like that. These, I'm going to assume, are probably more so for gear farming and endgame and stuff like that. As you guys can see, they're all level 50 plus with very high battle power requirements. So those will be more of an endgame thing. If we end up making an endgame guide on this game, we will talk about those in a later video. Now, here on the menu, like I said, there's just a few things simply that you guys are going to know already. The notification section, pretty self-explanatory. You guys are already going to know what that is. Mail, this is where you go to check your mail. Make sure you are checking this regularly, because one thing with these mobile games is they reward you for everything. I know these games have these, these reputations of pay to win and all this other kind of crazy crap. Yeah, you guys, if you know me personally, you know I'm not crazy about mobile games. But they do send you stuff frequently. Every time you level up, you complete a quest, you do a dungeon in here, these guys are sending me back-to-back gold, currencies, all kinds of different things. So make sure you are checking your mail option. Gotcha in the shop, that's pretty self-explanatory. You want to, spend some money, flare up your character and stuff like that. That's all good, dandy, and fun. Matching, we've just went through that. You know what the dungeons are. The party section is real simple. 5-player parties like most typical MMO RPGs. Your typical party is going to want to consist of 3 DPS classes, 1 tank, and 1 healer or support. You also have the option to use a DPS meter as well if you want to see how good your DPS is doing, or try and compete with your friends and stuff like that. You do have that option here. You can press DPS and you can, just customize the meter, put it on the screen where you want, and build that how you want to. The next thing we have is the friends section, and big disclaimer, I want to tell you guys again, remind you, this is a channel-based game, so make sure you are in the same channel with your friends before you try partying up with them. To search and find friends that are playing with you, all you need is their in-game name. You don't need their PlayStation ID, you don't need their email, you don't need any type of special code. This fully cross-play game, it specifically goes by names. Just know your friend's name, know the server they're on. I would suggest probably being in the same channel too. Search for them, and you'll find them, at each other, start playing. It's real easy. Alright, the next section we are going to go over is your legions. Legions, in short, are your guilds in the game. Now, you do have to be up to a certain point in the story to build your own legion, but to join legions, you can join them, I'm pretty sure, whenever you want to. So if you're friends, or if you know somebody who's been playing PC or mobile since day one, and they already have a guild and they were just waiting for you as the console player to get involved with the game, you can go ahead and join their legion at any time. I'm not sure if there's any level requirement to join legions unless people put that specifically in them, but yeah, I'm pretty sure legions you can get into whenever you want. The next thing we're going to go ahead and talk about is your skills. Now, the skill system is real simple. Like I told you guys before, every single class has 3 different subclasses. Me personally, I am a warrior. I have brute force, rage, and ironclad. Brute force and rage are the DPS versions of warrior. Brute force is more of a single target focus. Rage is more of a AoE and multiple target focus. Ironclad is the tank version of the warrior. You can switch between these at any time. The game encourages you to try them out so you can find a play style that's good for you. You're going to earn skill points every single time you level up. You put these skill points into different moves to make them more powerful. It's a real simple, self-explanatory system. Don't think we need to go too in-depth with that. If you've played any MMO or even regular single-player RPG before, you know how this mechanic works. Now, the next thing I do want to talk to you guys about is the followers section. And the reason I want to talk about the followers section is so important is because your mounts are in here. They call them followers, but they're actually your mounts and your pets are both in this section. So if you've been rewarded a pet for, whether you got it through gacha or if it was a login reward or anything like that, you're going to find them in this section. The game does give you your first mount for free, so do not be pressured to spend money on a mount. I actually have a guide showing you where and when you unlock your first mount. It's actually very early in the game, as you guys can see. I'm only level 14 and I already have it, and I'll leave that guide down in the video's description so y'all can check that out if you want to go ahead and unlock your first mount as quick as you possibly can. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is reputation, and that's because reputation is pretty important. A lot of these places will give you extra armor, different weapons and stuff like that for having a good reputation in their area. How you increase your reputation in different regions is real simple. All you do is do your story quests and do side quests that you see along the region. You'll earn different reputation points that you can spend on all kinds of things. These things will include crafting materials. Some of them will have weapons and different items for you and all that stuff. It depends on the region and what they're offering. Like I said, I haven't been through the whole game, so I can't tell you what's in every single one, but I have got to look at some of them. And a lot of these other things are real, self-explanatory and simple stuff. Gathering, there's different materials and stuff you can gather throughout the world. Gathering and crafting, you guys know how all of that works. I can make a separate guide on that if that's something you guys are interested in. The achievements in the game, like I told you, it's a mobile style game. It does reward you a lot. Every time you finish a certain amount of quests, level up to a certain point, get your battle power up to a certain point, they are giving you goodies, currency, and extra skill points. Well, not skill points, and points to spend on different goodies in the games and stuff like that. One last and final thing I do want to talk to you guys about is the projecting system. And the reason I want to talk about this is because projection, when you see the word that they use right there, it can come off confusing. But this is actually your glamour area. So anytime you get outfits or you want to make your character look a certain way based off of old gear you have or a certain costume you may unlock or something like that, you come here in projection, and this is where you will apply those different things and make your different cosmetic pieces look how you want to. For example, I can make this level 12 shield I have right here have the design of the original level 1 shield if I like that better. I can make this one-hand sword look like one of these other one-hand swords if that was something I want to do, etc., etc., etc. You have the option, to change the look and appearance of your different gear items and stuff like that. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for some of my basics and tips for Eternal Kingdom Battle Peak. If you guys have any additional tips and things you would like to teach myself or other players, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Best one I see, I might go ahead and pin it to the top of the video. But anyway, y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like button. I'll be seeing y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.